feel like we should actually do fair commentary? If you insist. Okay. I have to say, if we're going fashion police here, we have to dock Frozen points for playing a gremlin.
Yeah, that's a problem.
But it's color
I like
coordinated.
the setup though. The armor is pretty cool looking.
Frozen is color coordinated, so I will give him that.
Yeah. Also, he has the fire trail, which I've always thought was pretty dank.
Okay.
Let's see if they can beat Ruby here in a race.
Oh no, that's literally impossible.
Well, they both got it though.
See, that's a good sign. You beat the other character in the race, you can beat your opponent in the race.
So, well, two players, jokes aside, are getting to the first area of the game, which is the Frozen Keep. Frozen Keep is... Well,
Frozen
of course,
Keep?
Frozen Keep, I said? No.
It's Frozendoze's area. He resets so many runs, so it's here we started calling it Frozen Keep.
No,
this is the fact I just made up.
We're gonna have frozen orbs later, but that's another thing. Anyway, it's the easiest area of the game, but the saves tend to be very far apart, so any mistake here will be very costly.
Yeah, that's why most people, some people jump over that dog, but what happens if the teleporting dude we call Fire Guys teleports in front of you when you're on the crumbling platform section, he'll slow you down enough for the dog to catch up, and you might get knocked into the spikes below, which are instant death. So it's kind of like a gamble if you want to kill that dog or not. It only really costs half a second, so I'd recommend most people do it, but it paid off for Frozen to skip it.
Yep.
We just getting really good at the RNG.
Yeah. Our two players are coming to the first portal really, really close. Portals are not very complicated in this game. They spawn enemies, you kill the enemies, and that damages the portal. Here,
the next
RNG
one's more interesting.
Yeah, RNG has a bit of an effect where the Fire Guys are going to spawn here, but both got pretty much the same RNG and are out of here before 2 minutes.
So, game gets more fun now because you have a second jump. It's a flutter jump, so it's kind of based on your current momentum. You can use it either before or after your jump. Game does not care. Leo didn't get the kill there, is he? Okay. See, if you don't kill that guy, sometimes he'll just teleport into you when you're crossing gaps and just knock you into the abyss, so he's kind of just going for it. I don't know how he dodged that fire. He knows more about this game than I do, clearly.
Yeah, he behaved. That was nice.
Yeah. You can never trust them to behave. A lot of people go back to kill them just so, like, the variants won't ruin your run.
Well, there's going to be a little trick on this portal. Both pairs are going to leave and re-enter the portal so that they can spawn a second wave faster. That allows us to kill the
game doesn't
quicker.
care which enemies you kill, it just kills that you kill enemies in general. So you can spawn the first wave for extra enemies just to get the portal's HP down faster. Alright, they're both coming on the first boss real soon. They're very even, so their RNG wasn't that different. Nothing really complicated about the first boss. If you're really unlucky, you can lose time, but it takes about the same time to kill her every single go. What's honestly interesting is what comes after the boss, for sure. Because they get a new power-up, and they can actually use it to do a very brief sort of ledge clip to try and save time to get onto a faster cycle that affects the rest of the area.
It's kind of a theme in this game is that when an area loads, the entire area loads. And so if you're on a cycle at the beginning of the area, you're going to stay on that cycle. And in the second part of the floating keep, I almost said frozen keep again, damn it. It can change enormously the speed at which you can get through the keep. Here.
The problem is clipping fast and efficiently is difficult, so Leo didn't get the fastest cycle. If you get the absolute fastest cycle in every... Frozen got it! Let's go!
Let's go.
But yeah, to continue, if you get the absolute fastest cycle in every room, this area just moves very smoothly, and you basically never have to wait at any point. Is Leo going for pixel jump? Is he styling? Is he actually? Okay, that's almost impossible. It's sometimes possible, but it really depends on which pixel you happen to leave the platform from, and then you need really, really good inputs to get up there.
Also, it's not always possible, right? You need perfect sub-pixel for it. So you can do it perfectly and still not make it.
The reason we call it sub-pixels because the character accelerates by fraction of a pixel, so if you just sort of like start from the wrong location, it just won't work. It's kind of random. It's not fun.
Both
They're
players
still
are
very
making their
even.
way to, yeah, it's very even. Both players making their way to Pergora, the first real boss of the game. First one was more of a tutorial. Pergora is pretty interesting in that it's pretty much a damage race. With the different weapons in the game, you can pretty much always damage the boss and just tank everything it sends at you. And RNG, however, has a big effect on this boss depending on which attack he decides to do.
Yeah, as long as the players have decent execution, it's probably going to be the randomness of the attack selection that determines who kills it first. Frozen got a pretty awful attack, while Lewd got maybe around second, third best RNG here, so it's pretty good. He missed the kill on the Enrage Scream, though, so Frozen gets to catch up, and they get their kills at about the same time. So the execution did matter. I like how Frozen timed a swing of Sloth, which is a weapon that takes forever to swing. You have to pre-time it.
Yep, but it deals 8 damage, which is the highest damage that any weapon deals in the game. The weapon we're going to see the most here is Greed. Well, if you see a little circle around the player that seems to always deal damage, that's Greed. And Greed is the most damage per second in the game. So I don't know if you want to talk to our viewers here about the
Okay, they both got good skip. It took Lewd 2 tries. I think it's faster to reset and go for good skip again than if you get bad one, but I think he didn't even leave the arena. As you saw on Lewd's screen, he sort of camera got trapped inside a sort of floating area, and his physics changed. The goal is to actually confuse the game using another save file, and you're trying to jump out of this area instead of falling into a really long auto-scroller section. But if you're good and you hit the very edge of the bounding box of the area, it still gives you this sort of free-falling, free-floating physics, but you also get to escape it at the same time. It's about 12 seconds faster or something than if you just jump over and out without getting the better physics, because it allows you to sort of save warp back to a more advantageous position.
Yep, and Civ Warping is also going to be pretty useful here as both players making their way to Electrum. So basically, they're not going to take any save until they get to Electrum, beat the boss, and after that, after they get the feather after the boss, they're simply going to reset, saving all the way back.
Frozen had to take the save. He had 30 HP. It's not worth trying the boss on 30 HP in a race. You lose time getting the save, but you lose more time by just dying to the boss, you know?
Yep, you have to redo the entire path again. And then beat the boss.
Boss, you can play it safe, but to kill him quickly, you have to deal with the fact that his movements are unpredictable when he's transitioning between attacks because he chooses from his list of attacks randomly. So if you haven't narrowed down the list yet, you don't know if he's going to jump straight up or move into you, and you really don't want to leave the range of your weapon either because you're trying to follow his motion perfectly while constantly swinging.
Yep, there's also a few attacks that you can tank and it's faster. So you want to have a little bit of play area with your health with this boss. Else you have to play it extremely safe and lose a lot of time.
Yeah, you see how Frozen, when Electrum jumped up and spat lightning, it's much faster to follow his motion, jump straight up, take the hit, and jump down. You can kind of go under and behind him, but it's just slightly slower in terms of damage output compared to just tanking the damage, and requires more execution as well.
Both pairs are extremely close still. However, Lewd is going to be able to reset back to the red save, and we're going to see him take the lead right here. Oop, Frozen not very used to doing this area, sadly fell on the way back. That's not an area players are going to do very often in runs. Usually if you fail the Electrum skip, you just reset the run. But in a race, of course, you can do that. So both players are going to be making their way through the Veil 2. It's a pretty interesting area in that there's a damage boost that both players are going to do that allows you to skip pretty much half of the zone and save a lot of time, but that damage boost is extremely dangerous and scary. So we're going to see how they're going to do.
It's scary because the fast way of doing it makes you take more damage, and in doing it, you're skipping saves which heal you, so you have to go through a long gauntlet of enemies and obstacles without getting any health back. And since you're being chased by sort of random B-type enemies, you need to save even more HP so you can intentionally tank hits to go through on the fastest cycle. There's a lot of backup strats where you slow down to kill the enemies or you detour for a heal, so we're going to see what the players decide to do here. Lewd is taking this strat, so if he fails it's less of a time loss. And he's about to do it. Does he use the bug or the blade? It looks like he's using the blade.
Oop,
Okay,
sadly failed to jump. The jump, by the way,
Frozen
is
made
pretty
it.
precise. You have to press extremely quickly to be able to go up.
Frozen needs the backup heart. Yeah, you saw like sort of deciding what to do there. He just realized there's another B. He doesn't want to have to risk it. He'll die to any hit from there. May as well go for the backup and just make sure he doesn't die on this really long section.
Lewd is not going for any heart, but he's going to have to dodge the windmill here.
Yeah, and Lewd's being chased by a bee, so he might die the randomness.
Yikes!
The shots just curved around him! This is some Neo stuff!
Oh my god. Oh,
And,
first attempt
yeah,
on cave skip by Frozen.
Jeez, that was fast. We're still talking about Lewd. The Frozen already got through the cave skip. Frozen's taking a lead here because Lewd's not able to get hit. This skip's really tricky. It's a damage boost, it's a really precise damage boost, and even getting damaged in the first part relies on a really sort of rhythmic setup where you're trying to like unload the screen so the rock isn't doing collision detection, and when you come back on, the rock is just teleported on your position.
Yep, but both players get to Amethyst pretty much at the same time. Amethyst's chick is not very complicated. You can only deal 16 damage to her every time she does an attack. She chooses amongst about 6 attacks what she will do to damage you, and you just have to survive the attack and then deal damage. So this is kind of an auto-scroller. Just gotta live. I think both players didn't take the save before the fight, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure since they're at 20, they took the rock to do the boost, and then they entered the fight. They want to save warp back outside of the cave, because walking back takes like 10 or 12 seconds. Not much to say about the fight, because, you know, like Ziggy said, you can't really speed it up, it's just survive.
Well, we can see that when she uses the big laser, she uses it twice in the fight at 66% and 33%. It deals 90 damage, so if you get hit by it, you die. You just die. So Frozen with a kill, sub 12 minutes. That's pretty fast.
Looks good. He's going into the grotto now. Severia's a lot of fun, mostly because the music is eternally catchy. I've been listening to this song for almost like 3.5 years now, and I still sing it in my head when I'm in this area. No lie.
About 12 seconds lead here by Frozen, takes the safety save. There's a lot of saves you can skip in the grotto, but we're going to see how aggressive both players are in this run.
Yeah, the deal with the saves in this area is that they're just sort of very slightly out of the way, so if you don't need the health or you don't want the backup sort of safety insurance, it's just way faster to keep going on without them, especially because there's a couple later where you're trying to maintain a good cycle so you can go through all these like rotating things without slowing down, and taking time to take saves makes you wait longer than you need to. Strategically taking damage is also a huge thing in this area, where you use your HP as a resource and use exactly as much as you need to get through an area without slowing down.
Here Frozen is going to abuse one property of the saves, that they kill enemies that are on screen. So what he did, he jumped up to spawn 2 more plants that are kind of a problem when you try to get up. Use the save, kill the plant, and then can get through fairly safely. It's
yeah, the
not
strat...
the fastest strat, but it's
not
very,
faster,
very
but it's really easy.
Yeah.
And the fastest strat in that room, which involves sort of one-cycling these lasers that go down for a very short amount of time, involves damage boost and some tricky movements, so not very many people go for it.
It's a bit crazy in this strat.
I think Frozen has to take a save of shame before the boss. I'm sorry, I mean swag save. This one or the next one, though? Okay, I agree with this.
Yeah, the yellow save is the one that we can really call the save of shame. The one before the boss would be more safety save.
I highly understand taking this, especially in races. Most runners in PB attempts just roll right by it, though.
Yeah, one of the reasons why Dark Annihilator is not that dangerous of a boss.
No.
It's mostly a damage race that players will pretty much always win.
Pretty much.
But he can wall you sometimes, so going in there with 50 health can get scary if you get unlucky.
Also, if you make one mistake on this boss, it can sort of snowball on you, because if you fail to break one of the bombs he launches, it carpets the ground in green fire, and it's going to be a long time before that goes away. And if you're really, really unlucky, there's a couple times where the saw blade just sort of perfectly lines up with the rest of his attacks, and it's almost undodgeable, so you don't want to go in for like 30 HP.
Yep. So we didn't talk about the Orbs of Purity. You cannot
Oh, yeah.
damage our little friend here, DA, with melee attacks. You can only shoot at him. After killing Electrum, players got range attack. And basically, that range attack regenerates one bullet after every, I'd say, second, a little bit less than a second. So this is why players are staggering their shots, and you only get to keep a few in reserve. So you have to be careful to always use them, not to waste any regenerating shots. So both players ended up with green fire, but both players are actually doing a good job handling it. The green fire never goes away.
Yeah, you just have to wait for him to basically walk the arena towards you. If you take too long to do the fight, he'll walk you all the way to the end with his instant kill spikes. Oh, okay, Frozen is... nah. You can actually shoot that switch from the wrong side of the wall because the walls are just absurdly narrow and the hitbox on the blasts the shots make are really big. It saves a cycle in that room. We need to shoot diagonally from the correct angle.
We're pretty synced here.
Ooh, 3 misses in a row. The players are tied up now. And Lewd got it. Frozen gets it. They're basically completely synced, yeah. 16 minutes into the race, same save. Frozen's taking a safety, okay.
Both are going to skip the red save here. And go to the long minecart section. So this minecart section we're not doing exactly how it was intended. Because the switch will close every lasers in the level. So you can just skip to a switch that's easier to hit, and
it's not faster. It's just easier.
Yep.
Way easier. Everyone does it. Unless something seriously goes wrong, Lewd can definitely sort of maintain his lead till the end of the section, because these minecart sections, you don't really speed up the minecart. It goes how fast it wants to go, and you need it to actually make the platform work at the end. So you're sort of just going at its own pace. It'll be more interesting when they get to the boss, for sure.
Yep, Terravine can be pretty interesting in that. It's a boss that you want to use your health to deal more damage to the boss. You want to tank some damage, but it can get dicey pretty quickly. You have to be careful. You just want to be just greedy enough to deal maximum damage without just dying, and the boss can troll you a little bit sometimes with the attack selection.
Yeah, it doesn't help. He likes to save the attack that's best for tanking for last, even though it's supposed to be just a random attack order selection. I believe we did some statistical analysis and there's roughly a 6,000% chance of getting lasers last. Sounds about right to me.
By the way, Lewd just did drive-by.
That's completely unnecessary, but you know what? I respect it. It loses no time. Okay, they're entering the boss at about the same time.
We're going to have to see what attack luck they get. There's one attack that is slower than the rest, which we call Spores. And you hope to get that one last.
Yeah, if you get Spores last, you can kill him on the other 5 attacks, but it's pretty rare to see it last. Lewd and Frozen have already gotten it. You usually see it in the first half of the fight for whatever reason.
Lewd is using Lust Strats on Spores. That's pretty scary.
Yeah, the Spores don't just do damage, they do other status effects that might just instantly kill you. Since you need to, you know, be around and moving to use his minecarts to stop his instant kill attack, if a Spore puts you to sleep, fight is over. Most people stay further back on Spores to make sure they don't miss. Hey, Lewd got lasers last!
Yep.
9,000% of the time.
And still got a 5 attack kill.
Yep.
This is a close game. Wow,
this is really close.
Exiting Terravine at the same time.
Like, I want to say that this is the volatile speed game because one tiny slip up on a deceptively difficult section can lose you like 40 seconds. You can fall off a boss arena. There's so many small mistakes you can do that just fall so far behind your opponent. They're just dead even 19 minutes in the game, which is speaking pretty good for their consistency. I'm proud of Lewd, honestly. I think I spoke too early.
Ooh, 5 health! He made it!
I almost commentators cursed him!
Oh, that was a nice save. Oh. So, in that part of the save, you usually want to go as quickly as possible and tank some damage, and then you get to the save fairly safely, but sadly he got stuck up a little bit earlier on, and had to kind of find a way to survive.
He was still on fire by that point.
Yep. He would have died if you didn't get that save there.
Oh, I'm gonna talk about skeletons. They're the most fun enemy. Oh, Lewd quick kill the skeleton. They're the most fun enemy in this game, I think, because their movement is super dependent on like your position and movement relative to theirs. So you can sort of push them off screen to make barriers despawn. You can try and like quick kill them by controlling their movement precisely. There's a lot of strats in this game that involve skeletons that really add a lot of flair.
That's already 4 times the lead changed in this game so far. That's pretty hype.
They didn't make the cycle on that one spout, or at least Leo didn't. Ziggy, you gotta start a V Academy so you can teach everyone the correct strats. Because you fixed my strat there, and I get the correct cycle now. And I don't know, not everyone's doing it. Be the teacher we all want you to be.
It's a pretty interesting cycle for sure.
Okay, Frozen.
By the way, we haven't talked about the dash wings. I don't know if you want to talk about them.
Sure, I'll do it. Dash wings, when you collect them, you get a single consumable 8-way dash that you can use any time between all your jumps and flutters and everything. But if you take damage during or before it, it gets cancelled. It's used for platforming mostly, and there's a sort of little glitch where if you flutter while your dash is active, momentum gets added to the flutter, but it takes the right timing because if you flutter too early, you're just canceling the dash, so the overall height gain is much less, and only vertical momentum gets added. So the trick is to really flutter at the very end of the dash to gain extra vertical height, and that's going to be used for a skip in the next area.
Yep, no, both our players are on the random Hollywood chase scene, Craterack. So basically, it chases you.
5 rocks! You got 5 rocks!
5 rocks, all of them. Oh my god, he's... No, it's a bit too much health
He's not going to
cycle, but that was a good first phase. So basically, Craterack is very simple. He just throws attack at you. You can only damage him with range attacks. But there's an attack he does called Rocks. It drops rocks from the ceiling and you can send them back at him that deal an enormous amount of damage.
Frozen made it look easy because their spawns are really dependent on your position and your momentum, so you need to get a good setup for the initial rocks so that the rest of them will just spawn way behind you. But he had a perfect setup for rocks.
Did Lou die so twice? Easy. I know he resetted once after a bad first phase, but...
I'm not sure. I was talking about Frozen.
Anyway, Frozen is making his way to the second part of the underworld, where you have to collect 3 keys at the bottom, the middle, and the top to open up doors in the next area, and those can be pretty fun. You don't have to come back after you get the key. You just don't take the save that's close to the key. You just reset, and you still have the key in your inventory.
It's hilarious and tragic if a runner accidentally takes a save and can't do the save or the backtrack, because there's extra obstacles on the way back on a couple of the keys. So it's worse than just having to walk back.
Yeah. And it's not that these obstacles are that much harder, it's just that we never practiced them. So...
Who knows how to do them? My first playthrough. I don't know anything. Okay, Frozen does a safety strat where it goes back to the platform there, but you can go all the way to the end ledge with the right setup.
Yeah, he was a little bit low there. I agree with the safety strat.
He could have made it, but I don't blame him for making sure that it will work in the race. Especially because they're both doing pretty well here.
Yep, chase scene here again. This worm will one-shot kill you if...
Does Frozen go for one fire guy?
Yep. Yeah, he does.
Because in the upcoming room, there's a bunch of dudes that spawn, but the gate at the end just checks if there's any currently alive enemies. So if you do it fast enough, you sort of cut off the later spawns. There's no way he's going to get a single one. He has to kill 2 at this rate. Yeah. He didn't even go over there early. He's waiting for the second one.
Well, that was just because he fluttered instead of sliding.
It's really hard to just kill one. You have to get to the centaur immediately while pre-firing shots. You have to sort of fire shots diagonally at him at the instant you kill the fire guy as well. You can't slip up on any other movement. Frozen gets the first try.
First try. So this is the boss. The boss does not exist anymore.
Yep, it's gone. No boss. We just sort of bring an enemy into the arena and use iframes to just sort of skip through the boss's hitbox so you don't get knocked down to the fight trigger zone. Okay, Frozen's entered the library. Well, the Acropolis, I mean. Library is the first area we go to.
Yep, there's 2 areas, at the top and the bottom. At the top is the library, where we're going to meet Miyugi, which was the first boss we beat very easily at the beginning.
Except this time she's a room killer.
Yep, she's dangerous. So she has a little bit of a... Well, she's a special fight. In that now her shield actually is always down except when you attack her. When you attack her, she has this kind of yellow bar at the bottom that fills up, and you have to wait for it to be down.
Skip.
Yep. Oh, okay. I missed that. I'm sorry.
It was so close. It was like by a pixel. I can't just let that go. You can get more height than that, but he's scaring the heck out of me. But yeah, we'll explain the boss again when it comes up, and it makes more sense when you actually get the visual. The reason the boss is a run killer is because you're trying to skip a phase that lasts for, what, 30 seconds? 40 seconds? And if you don't get it, you just have to eat it and just sit there. It's... Oh, Lewd messed up the AC skip. Frozen's actually taking a lead for the first, like, a sizable lead for the first time in the race. They were even going into Craterack.
Yeah, Craterack did a number on Lewd. He's had a pretty good underworld too, except for the
Till the end, yeah.
Well, but yeah, Craterack
this
did
time?
most of the damage here.
Ooh, that wasn't
that
it.
was a bit low, just a bit.
He had to hold right as soon as he took damage from that position to make it. The jumps and flutter weren't that bad, but he wasn't in the right horizontal area. Come on, third tries to charm. Fourth tries to charm. I'm feeling for him right now. That's why I said Lewd was a wild card, because he was completely keeping up with Frozen for half the game, and Frozen is projected to win here. And I was very impressed with Lewd, but sometimes he just sort of has issues. He could really just have an amazing run or just watch this happen for 5 minutes. I believe he'll get through soon. This is the real attempt. The non-commentator's cursed attempt, the actual success rate. There you go.
Yep, you got it.
100% success rate.
Yeah, I think it's the Omega Mat that got stuck here for about 8 minutes on the previous race.
May as well just fight the boss at that point.
Easy skipped.
Okay, Frozen's going into the boss. He's doing a weird thing. If you attack the boss too fast, she actually heals instead of takes damage. We're doing it intentionally, because every 8 attacks or so, she sort of stuns. And if you stun her in between the exact window when she's transitioning between phases, you'll actually just skip the invincible phase. But it takes a specific setup to do it. We'll see if Frozen gets it, because we'll tell you when it's about to happen.
Well, the setup was good.
Yeah, he's got the right health
see if
setup.
he's going to get the actual skip. It's what, 3-4 frames?
He's waiting for Fireball. Yeah. If she uses the big homing Fireball attack during this phase, it screws up because you're trying to very quickly get her to 40% HP before she puts a bunch of extra projectiles on the screen. It makes it very hard to get the skip. This is a good setup.
Perfect.
Nice, yeah, that's it.
To Gluttony for the skip, by the way. He feels like it's more consistent.
That's an old meme. I don't believe him.
Well, it's working.
It doesn't make a difference, though. It's fine for him. He's about done with the fight here. Lewd, if Lewd misses it, he's going to have an extremely hard time catching up, because he's already about a minute and a half behind at this point, or more.
Yeah, elevator is about a minute, and then you have the crumbly platform area. That's about.
He's okay with a death on the elevator. He's probably over 2 minutes behind. So well, he can still catch up if Frozen takes a costly death on a late game boss for sure.
Well, we don't know what can happen to the orcs, which is the next boss that Frozen is coming to. So Frozen is going to the second area of the Acropolis, which is the chambers. So Chambers has a little bit of a bug. When you get into them, you don't get music until you die. We're going to be getting there soon.
Yeah, so
if to have no music ever.
If the runner does perfectly, you just hear no music for the whole area. Who's ready to get completely pumped for silence?
Well, I'm pumped for the password. Will Frozen manage to get it on the first go?
Literally impossible puzzle.
No, too complicated.
Can he enter a base? He's confused. Can he enter a basic code? It's the same one we do every run.
Yeah, that password is not random. It's always the same.
He entered a basic 6-digit code we do every run. This consistency is appalling.
Impressive.
He's going for a fast cycle here. He wants to weave in between these black holes before they converge, and he has to wait another cycle. Got it.
Got it. So that's the chambers. First area of the chambers, there's this ceiling that will follow you and try to crush you. You have to press these levers to actually raise it back so that it doesn't kill you. We're not going to press all of the levers, but yeah.
You know what I want to see everyone do? I want to see someone meme the password room and then lose the race by like 2 seconds because they spent 2 seconds memeing. I want to see it happen. I want to see someone be punished for their sins. Optimal password room entry, or just riot.
Oh, Lewd resets on M2.
Frozen gets music! Wait, where's the music? There it goes. If you don't die here, it's silent the entire area until the boss. He's only dying because we wanted to hear music. That's the auto excuse if you die in this area. I just want music. It works 100% of the time. He's having issues in the corridor.
Yeah, you have to shoot that switch. What it does is it inverts which spikes are up and which spikes are down. And it's kind of precise on this area.
The rhythm changes every time you shoot it because you're getting closer to it, so it flips faster after the shot based on how far you are in the corridor.
Oh, why did he?
He didn't take the save? That had to be
he failed the
misinput.
save.
That had to be a misinput. That was not intentional. There's no reason to skip that save. Oh.
He came back to the save too.
Oh, this is tragic. This is tragic. He's a little tilted. You can tell because he's just sort of like waiting a bit in between attempts. He's not happy with this, and this is getting Lewd a chance to catch up a bit. Did Lewd even get the skip? He must have.
Lewd got the skip on the second attempt.
What kind of commentator am I? I'm not even looking at Lewd getting the important skip.
No, instead we're busy looking at Frozen failing a room. That's something that can happen in V. Seriously, the game is extremely hard, so sometimes the nerves get the better of you and you just stay stuck in a room. And it's really hard.
It's like how Frozen made the construct skip look free, and then Lewd was on it for like a couple minutes. He's almost at the boss, though. We jinxed him by talking about silent chambers. We're like, yeah, I just won't die. We'll get no music. And we got a lot of music. Alright, this boss is a mess. You can fight the boss how you're supposed to, but you lose damage output when they're swinging because you have to dodge it, so you just sort of fight the boss over the open air, dangling when gravity can kill you any second. Because it's fast!
But it's madness. You have to dodge attacks precisely, you have to tank some hits when you're going to be fighting red, and you have to make sure not to kill purple here. Enormous damage. Oh yeah, he gets the
Ziggy! Commentator's curse!
No, I said it at the same time it happened. It can be a curse because of the stream lag, okay? It's not my fault. I refuse responsibility.
Frozen dodged too well, because he saw when he dipped below, like when he's dipping below now, his weapon wasn't activating, but every single time he dipped below the previous attempt, he got the perfect damage output where his weapon is still swinging while he's dodging. And because of that, he wasn't paying enough attention to Purple's health. If you play too well, you have to stop attacking at the end.
Yeah, you can be too good at this game and get punished for it.
Also, killing these guys before they switch to their enrage phase, which is sort of pair-up attack, is kind of tricky, but if you're going to miss the quick kill, you can sort of just finish off Purple and kill Red before Purple resurrects, because as you see, Purple starts healing.
Yeah, that's what Frozen did here.
Yeah,
you have to kill both orcs at the same time.
Enrage.
Or else you just come back. So Frozen is going to be going to the last big platforming area of the game, the Path of Decay. Path of Decay is difficult, just to say the least. It's a little bit puzzly. Lots of combat, lots of everything that we've seen before in the game, plus meatballs.
And the fast strats in this area are a mess. There's a lot of really precise fast strats you can go in this area that save like 3 seconds, but it's not, the risk reward is kind of tilted, so unless you're really good at them. An example of this is that any crumbling platform, if you jump off of it on the first frame possible when you land, it just sort of forgets to break. So there's these puzzle rooms when you go back and forth, and you can sort of skip doing the puzzle by just reusing platforms, but it's too hard for most people to do it. The main example
on the strawberry room, though, that was well done. That's a very difficult room.
See how Frozen keeps returning to the left? If he was able to reuse platforms, the room would go a lot faster, but it's pretty hard to do.
Yeah, we call them task platforms for a reason.
I think in the last world record, Cake did task platform in that room, and I was mad just watching it, let me tell you.
So the climb, again, crumbling platforms.
It's choky.
Yep, so you have to kill all the enemies while going up, and you don't get that many platforms, so if you fail something, usually you have to restart.
He failed at that time, but he had enough left on the right. It did slow him down, though, but he's still, it's better than dying, for sure.
Yep, good health. Kills the skeleton on the way. gets another Bone Snake. I don't know if he does the fast second Bone Snake strategy.
Yeah, there's another choky fast strat, but a couple runners actually do it in races, myself included.
Crazy.
I don't think it's worth it for Frozen to try it, because it's not worth just risking a 15-second time loss for a couple seconds time save when you're ahead. You just need to play it safe and just clearly get the run to the end of the game.
Lewd just got to the orcs, doing also the quick kill. Good damage so far. Oh, Lewd is going to use the old strat. That is a bit scary
this is
now,
dodgy.
because the timing changed since the
Yeah.
patch.
They're going to start the Enrage phase earlier because he didn't transition the phases correctly, so he's going to have to finish off Purple early to prevent them from doing their Enrage attack, and this sort of furiously attempt to finish off Red before Purple resurrects. Yep, see how much HP Red has left? He's on timer. Purple's healing. Okay.
Saved it.
If Purple gets to what, 30% she resurrects?
Yep.
It wasn't
30.
as close as last time. He's
So
practiced
now
it.
meatballs. We were talking about meatballs earlier on. This is the space meatball, also known as demon form actually in game. So it's not very complicated. When you hold your action button, which slides or flutter and a few other things, you just transform into this demon form for a limited period of time, and you have to take these little red mists to gain back the
Meatball
time.
gas.
Meatball gas.
Meatball gas. Also, we failed as commentators again because I've been told that Frozen did fast Bone Snake and I wasn't even there to hype him up over that. Even after describing the strat, I didn't see him do it. Frozen's fast cycling, okay. That was close. The guy almost turned around. He would have shot a laser. Centaur's off the cliff. He's slowing down to kill the skeleton, which, yeah, that's fair. You can sort of do a pacifist skeleton strat here where you just sort of wait for him to fly off screen and the barrier just despawns anyway. It's faster, but it's more risky.
Overall, this was a
fight's a
pretty good
mess.
set of decay here by Frozen.
Do you want to explain the fight?
Yep, we're going to talk about Azrael. So Azrael's, I would say a juggling act, big on multitasking. So she's going to chuck attacks at you, like the 7-way attack, which the bullets will home in on you when you press the attack button. But she also drops platforms and spawns portals and stuff that you have to handle immediately, or else you're going to end up with no area to play with, and she's just going to kill you. As you can see, there's a portal to the left here with the little hand that comes out. These keep growing. They don't actually get smaller. So you have to make sure to always have some area to still have in the battlefield to be able to...
But you can kill them, you just have to get there quickly before they grow
Yeah,
too big.
Exactly. Also, she has a shield. If you
Yeah,
deal
he
damage her
over-damaged.
too quickly, she red shields and then you can hit her for about 8 seconds. It's a big time loss.
It's multitasking the fight, trying to maintain the proper damage output when you can't attack because you're surrounded by arrows, and you're also trying to maintain platforms, killing things, dodging. It's really easy to lose track of where a shield is at and not damage it or over-damage it.
Yeah, Frozen here is not trying to do too much, just enough.
Yep.
Keep enough areas to play with and manages to get a pretty quick fight. Baneful, Heart of the Baneful. Last
We're
area
almost
of
at the end of the
game.
game.
There's
Yeah.
not much here.
It's like
except
mini
two bosses.
platforming.
And Amethyst
First
will
boss is
try to
pretty
kill you,
easy.
but that's something else.
Game's final boss is actually the hardest boss, both to complete and to do fast. I like how Frozen does a sip of water strats. It's the same speed, doesn't matter. You still have to wait for platforms, but if you do that
got the
late,
fast bone snake as well. That's pretty
I
nice.
need a special gift for these runners. They're actually doing the swag strat I've been telling everyone to do. Alright, Frozen's coming on the boss. Most people use a long-range, low-damage weapon for this boss. You can use a higher damage medium-range weapon, but he wiggles so much, and you can only really hit him for critical damage in the chest, so it's really hard to do without him just kneeing you in the face.
Yeah, I've been insulting to learn Envy.
Yeah, only the best
J1,
runners
and
use Envy.
I just die most of the
It
time.
changes the fight so much. Okay, any headshots? Is that a neck or a headshot? I can't tell.
I think that's 2 headshots.
At least one.
At least one, yeah.
We're not memeing, it does more damage.
Yep, 1.5 times. So yeah, when he drops these spikes, you try to send back at him. It's the major damage dealer in the game. In the fight, the more you can deal damage with this, the faster the fight goes. Also, there's an orb that follows you sometimes.
You gotta
if
hit it back.
touches you,
If you
boosts
don't, it's
the
big
enrich,
bad.
but it's not going to happen. That was a
Yeah, if
great
the yellow
fight.
bar fills, it's over. You lose like 30 seconds. Okay, coming on the final boss. Frozen, I think... What is that glitch? What's he doing?
He has time.
10,000
He's just
IQ!
having fun.
I've never seen that before.
Hmm.
He didn't lose time because he gotta wait for these slow guys to catch up anyway, but I've never seen that visual glitch before. Yo, he's skating. Swagging on him. I love he's keeping perfect pace with his friends. He won't want to leave it behind.
Talking about the friends, the next fight, your friends are going to be very useful. So this is Supreme Jail. So we beat the boss, he gets angry, and now he's a dope nope rope. Anyway, your 3 friends will be very important to beat this fight. The green one, Fiola, drops health for you because the boss has poison aura. So you keep losing health and you need to replenish it with the green orbs, and that's pretty much the only thing that's going to heal you is the poison aura. Amethyst drops some traps. Frozen traps. If you can get the boss to land on them, she's going to be able to death laser him and deal an enormous amount of damage. And the third one here we see coming is Ira. She shields you for this attack. That's a big
By the way,
scream
good
damage.
RNG, left scream, because that's like where the shield is. So if he's screaming on another part of the arena and you have to run to the shield, you're missing out on more damage opportunity. He's also went YOLO and staying close to the face on bubbles. If he got bad angles on those projectiles, it could have been undodgeable from that location, but his damage output is really good right now.
I don't know if he's going to go left or right here. Oh, went to the right. He's
Frozen
fine.
better not tank on this, because he's already taken extra hit. Once he plays
He's,
safe!
he's going
Frozen,
for
safe!
Whoa, that
Frozen.
was close. You can tank this laser.
He
Take
almost
only
took
1
2
hit
hits.
if you're perfect. Where
He
you did
almost
it.
took 2 hits. What does he stop YOLOing? HP, Frozen! You need it to live! Ah! I can't speak.
Yeah, if you dodge these, he's fine. He's fine.
That was
scary.
so
That's a kill.
fast.
That was a great
That
kill.
was so
Oh
fast.
my god.
He uses
Sub
HP as a
41.
resource beautifully, but like in a race to do that kind of J2 fight, that's terrifying.
Everybody
Why?
give a GG to Frozen. He deserves it. That was
fight
an
was
amazing
insane.
fight. Oh, wow.
Oh, I'm still spooked.
Wow. Wow.
Mm,
Mm,
that was terrifying.
That was delicious. Lewd is fighting Azrael right now. Good control of the fight, full health still. Nothing on the battlefield, she's half HP. We're going to see if we can get Frozen here for an interview. Now, I want to talk to him about that J2 because that was something. I mean, he already had dropped J2 to almost 40% when the dive happened. So that was pretty fast.
By the way, I
that
got
must
the
have been
data.
Yep.
That time Frozen got for a race was like 4 minutes faster than his previous best race time in this tournament.
Dang.
So consistency's going up. It's still not really right on this PB or anything, but this run was really good compared to his PB. To like be within a minute or so in a race, solid.
In game time, that was under a minute in difference, yes. There was something like 40, 53, 58, I don't...
I think all the difference just came in the chambers, right? Where he lost
Yep.
around a minute.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Could have been a sub 40.
A good chambers could have been a PB.
I guess he lost PB to the password. I mean, platforming. I'm sorry, they both start with P, I just don't know what words are.
So Lud's dying to the evil spike there. It's kind of a precise drop here. You don't have much room to get down. It doesn't look hard if you just look at the jump, but if you try to do it, it can take a few attempts. I think we have
Okay.
Frozen here.
Frozen here for the winners interview. Hi, Frozen. How you doing?
Hey Shark, hey Ziggy.
Hello.
I'm feeling
Um,
okay.
So
Nice.
let's talk about that J2. What the hell?
What?
that was a lot of swag for the end boss, especially post Enrage. Like you decided to go for the laser tank with only 60 health.
Yeah,
And then you YOLO bubbles.
yeah.
I was really scared for you because I was watching you practice the boss before the race, and you're doing the same YOLO strats, but you were dying every attempt. So when you started doing the same stuff on the boss in the race, I just started screaming.
It's always different in
It
the
paid
run.
off.
I focus more on the run, like
Okay.
compared to practice. So yeah.
That's fair.
But yeah, I think I was a bit too greedy on the bubbles at the end. That was a bit too much.
It paid off. It could have killed you if you got bad luck, though.
Yeah, it could.
At least that was entertaining. You want to talk to us a little bit about the chambers, especially the
Ziggy, why you gotta
crumbly
bully him?
platform?
Maybe he doesn't want to talk
I
about
really
the
don't
chambers.
want to talk about this. I don't know what happened. I think I pressed flutter way too early every single time.
Yeah,
I
and
was
then you
stuck in
missed the
that rhythm.
save.
And I missed the save forward. Oh my god, no.
Because that's the only thing I can really think of your run that was a little bit of a struggle, except the when you killed purple on orcs, but then the second time you got the kill very, very well.
The whole chambers was just cursed.
But the rest of the run was extremely solid, seriously. That without the chambers, I think that would have been a PB.
PvP by 10 seconds, yeah.
Good
It's
run.
dead. I lost like a whole minute in chambers. But whatever. It was
Hey,
to
it's a solid victory.
yeah, I think it was okay. I got a gold on J1.
Nice.
Pretty happy. I didn't get the Electrum save skip, so that was a bit sad. Because
Yeah,
I took 2 hits and I had to save
you
before
gotta
Electrum.
choose to do the right strats in the race to make sure you don't lose even more time at that point.
Yeah, I didn't want to take that risk.
What I want to ask is how you feel going into week 4 now that you're 2-1, but you were the first match of week 3, so we have no idea who your potential opponents are until people win their races.
I think there are like a lot of people who are really good at this game, which I go against with 2-1. So yeah, it will be exciting.
Yeah.
I could go against Squall or I don't know, Canaris. These are really good people.
I don't want to be a little bit too hasty, but I'm
And
probably
Ziggy.
going to be 2-1.
Ziggy is likely 2-1 if it goes as projected. There's only going to be a couple people who really have a chance to go for Yo at this point, so you might have to fight someone good.
Mm-hmm.
But you're doing good in the tournament so far. I think as long as you go at least free 2, you're making the top 8 bracket.
Yeah, I think so too. I am confident to make it into the top 8.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you continue getting sub 41s in races, I think it's going to happen. That was a good performance.
Thank you.
Lewd is finally coming up on the end of the game. We're going to close this out. Do you know that Lewd was dead even with you until you entered Craterack and he died to Crat?
Yeah, I know. I was watching the
20
stream.
minutes in.
I was watching the stream, yeah. It was kind of sad.
You're telling me you're watching the stream, knew you were 5 minutes ahead and still yelled at J2?
Yes.
Where did I get confident, Frozen?
I just have fun with that boss.
At the confidence store? It's insane. You're good at that boss. You're really good at that boss. You had the boss rush world record in it.
Yeah.
Well, it's something that I noticed is that on your practice save file, you have 31 hours of practice on them.
Just on that boss.
That showed.
Although if that's his first playthrough file, you know, a good third of that could be his first attempt ever at the boss and his first playthrough, for sure.
I think for my first playthrough I took 7 hours.
Leard got screamed. Just finish under 50 minutes, Leard. What I want to ask about Leard is he plays on keyboard, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Why are his load times so ungodly long?
Yes, a
He's got
really,
too
really
many
shitty
differences
PC.
between in-game and real time. I feel for him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna watch nervously while he just hopefully finishes out this race. Now, hopefully we'll get
Good
an
RNG here with a stream
on.
on the left side. The damage is good so far.
He just needs to get him to about 50%, and then he can get the next 10% on the dive and get a quick enrage still. If you don't quick enrage, he does another scream, so he's just sitting around waiting and it's really slow. Yeah, it's quick enrage. I just want to see him play safe and just close out the race at this point.
Yep, something we didn't talk about is that after 40% health, J2 enrages, and
Yeah, all
all
the
of his
attacks
attacks are
change.
doubled.
They get scarier. That worm is scarier than it looks because it has a sort of death explosion hitbox in addition to its regular hitbox, so it's really easy to jump into that and just take a 25 damage you did not want to take. Also on this phase, it's really easy to just be forced on the one side of the area and not get life orbs, because he tried to go for the life orb and he couldn't make it back to the middle. He could have dodged offside on the outer platform, but he would have missed damage output in doing so.
It's also extremely scary to dodge the...
Is he dead?
She dropped a health! She
Ah!
didn't drop health!
No!
Yola, please!
No!
Oh no! Gonna have to start all over again on the boss.
Oof. Oh, that's a ripper.
Yeah, that's the poison lure at work. So if Fiona's not entirely consistent, sometimes she's going to wait a little bit longer before she drops health. Sometimes she's going to move a bit farther, so that's kind of...
It's still enough health to mitigate the constant damage you take, but you don't want to be waiting on 1 HP hoping she drops it right now. You barely dodged a laser. Making me sweat. I would say something like Fro tries to charm, but last time I did that, it took 4. His damage is good here. He's below 50 already, so extra damage chipping as he goes up.
I think Lewd is... Oh no.
Lewd.
He's slipped off the platform. There's
Lewd.
spikes to the side of the platform, so if you just...
Who buttered the platform? He just slid right off. Someone's out here with like olive oil and a vengeance.
That's probably Mugi. Not Sulu House.
This is just bullying at this point. Let the
Yeah.
man go, he's suffered so much.
Jake is a big bully. Very often you're going to get to him, and if you don't kill him on the first go, it's gonna take a few attempts.
And as you could tell from Frozen's kill on this boss, you don't really die on this boss unless you get good at it, because if you go and use your HP as a resource for the fastest possible kill, he introduced the risk on the fight. Any really practiced runner could, you know, complete the fight without taking like hits really, but you could save like over 10 seconds by just tanking damage, and it's seriously a huge deal. The like higher level you get in this game, how much time you can save on this boss by playing aggressively, risking or taking damage.
There is one thing Lewd is doing aggressively here, is that he's staying on the side the boss is to deal as much damage as he can, but he's missing a lot of orbs, and that's not helping him, I think.
He needs to cross, instead of doing a damage on the red sheet, yeah, there we go. He needs to just realize he needs to cross for every single orb and just finish the fight rather than finishing a potential kill faster. Good presence of mind to go off platform rather than trying finding the angles on platform.
Well, considering the orbs he had, that was pretty much the only angle he had. That was... Oh, that was scary. He's
that
there.
was unfair.
I don't think
That
he
was
gets
actually,
there in time.
That was so unfair.
No, that was
I'm gonna talk about those
away.
bubbles. Those bubbles forced him inside, but then the next wave forced him offside, and he just didn't have enough time to make the transition. They were both highly dodgeable, just the positions he was in were awkward, and they just sort of fed into each other to create a stupid thing.
Because you need to, at least a second to read the angle at which they're going to attack you, because they kind of wobble in the direction they're going to come in. But you can read that instantly. You have to actually...
You have to watch them move to read their angle, and Lewd was just too far away. He almost got there. Yikes. That's when it's a V. You sort of realize that when people have really good runs, this game looks so easy. It looks free. They don't die, they just kill the bosses, and it's like, oh, easy sweet game. But when the mid-level runner just makes like a few mistakes and you realize how easy it is to just lose all your time and have your run collapse in front of you. Yeah. Oh, we went left. That's more damage.
Yeah, because the boss will go to the direction he's closest to when he dives after.
You can prevent that, but you need better timing on the dive slide, for sure.
And sometimes it can be hard to prevent it if the eyes are in bad positions and you have to stay really in the middle of the trap.
Or if the circle is above the trap and you don't want to stand there too long because the circle burns you in it.
Yeah, we haven't talked about the circles that are behind the players. It's not just a decoration. If you stay close to that circle, it's going to become less and less opaque, more and more opaque. And once it's entirely visible, it just burns you for an enormous amount of damage. So it can prevent you from meleeing the boss when you want to do a lot of damage, or have a good position to dodge far away if you want to be safe. And he should be fine now.
Please.
One more attack, you can do it.
Don't fall off in spikes, come on.
No, he's got it.
Finally.
That's fine.
We did
GG
it.
to Lewd with a time of 54:28. Finally manages to kill good old J2 that's been a little bit of a bully. Congratulations.
Oof.
Oof.
I'm not even going to ask questions if he comes up for an interview. I'm just going to say, oof. And he's going to get it.
Mm.
Yikes.
But his early game was extremely solid, though.
Yeah, no, he was even with Frozen halfway through the race.
Mm.
Like, they were save for save, even inside the underworld. It wasn't until Crateract that Lewd fell behind and didn't catch up.
Yeah, I mean, they exchanged leads, 3 or 4 times before we got to the middle of the underworld, so...
Hi, Lewd.
Hi, Lewd.
Hello.
How you feeling?
I am, for real, honestly, super disappointed in myself because that run was absolute garbage tier. Like, not time-wise, sure, but there were so many stupid mistakes in that run. Like, choking a C-skip for a minute?
You
What?
were doing fine until Underworld. You kept it completely Frozen. Don't be that hard on yourself.
I will be this hard on myself, though, because, like, just a bunch of stupid mistakes, like dying to Astral, I don't even know what's Magic Pixel, then walking off into spikes on J2.
Oh yeah, the buttered platform.
That was me. I buttered the platform. I'm sorry. Take it out
Like,
on me.
Yeah, I
when
mean,
when I
sorry,
saw
you can
Frozen
go on.
type done, I just knew, like, I just wasted the entire run because stupid mistakes. It wasn't even like, oh shit, sometimes it happens. It was just really stupid stuff. So
I mean,
it's frustrating.
It really started at Crateract, though. I think you died
Yeah.
twice to Crateract.
Yep, I reset at like the beginning because I got rock first and got hit by 2 of them. And then I reset again at the beginning because I fell down and it just started getting stuck in his face. So, yeah. That was fun.
Well, congratulations, though, on sticking with it. J2 was a little bit of a bully, and you still managed to complete the run in close to 50 minutes. Well, that was still pretty good.
I guess.
Anything else you guys would like to say?
Sorry. Yeah, sorry for being a bummer. I'm just, you know.
It's fine, man.
It's
I
fine.
feel bad after that kind of run, too. It just happens. Game
Well-
gets you.
Thanks for having me at least.
Thanks for coming.
Good luck next week.
Yep.
Was
We're
there
about
any
wrapping
other
up now.
thoughts by Frozen? Did you have anything else you wanted to say before we close it up here?
Good race, Lewd. Oh, Lewd is already out here. But yeah. No, I don't have anything more.
Alright, thanks for joining us.
Yep, I would like to ask everyone to follow our runners and follow Shark here, which is the second best player in this game. He's extremely good, he's very entertaining. Shark here is doing the commands before I do, so thanks, Shark.
Yep, I went ahead and sold out for us.
Good selling out. I would
Ziggy
like to
is also
thank-
the 3rd best player in this game and is streaming it, so you go ahead and follow him too.
Aw, you're so
But I will bop him soon.
That's the trash talk I wanted the whole time. I couldn't BM because I was on commentary. That's the good stuff.
I can't wait to see the Bob. I mean, you've had good runs lately, Frozen. I think you can do it.
I think, yeah,
It's
maybe.
going to be hype.
We will see.
So I'd like to thank Speed Gaming also for giving us this platform to present this tournament. They've done a great job again today. And I would like to say GG to both our players and a good evening to everyone.
Goodbye.